Is the ESP-01 still relevant in 2020?
Yes, no doubt about it. It's still an excellent IoT module. In this video we're going to show you why we still love the ESP-01, even though you now can buy the more powerful ESP-32 with Bluetooth, camera, touch sensors and much more.
In this video, we're focusing on the little ESP-01 and why it's great in so many cases.
Initially, Ivan created a library that gave us makers access to program the ESP directly via the Arduino IDE. Some makers were already connecting the ESP-01 to the Arduinos, building IoT devices using AT commands. But programming the ESP directly made the build smaller, cheaper and often easier.
Over the years, the ESP series has grown a whole lot. The most popular one is the ESP-12, which can be found on the Node MCU development board as well as the VMOS.
Not too long ago, the ESP-32 was released. It's faster, got more GPIO pins and also built-in Bluetooth, multiple touch sensors and more. You can even buy the ESP-32 developer board with a built-in camera for under $10. Delivered. We made a video about the ESP-32 cam. See the card for a link to that video. So why are we still saying that rather old ESP-01 still is relevant in 2020?
Simple. Most of the IoT devices we use on a daily basis still use the ESP-01. We're going to show examples of when ESP-01 is a great fit, but also tell you when you should not use it. Let's have a look at some of our builds. This is the YouTube counter that we built in our very first YouTube video. It's an ESP-01 pulling data from our YouTube channel and showing the number of subscribers on a 7-segment display. By placing the ESP on the backside, we can easily pop it out if we want to reprogram it.
Furthermore, we have several motion sensors using the ESP-01. These devices are battery powered. We put them into a deeper deep sleep mode, where it only consumes about 3 microamps. So along with the peer sensors that only use a few microamps, the device can operate on batteries for a very long time. We have made a video about that topic as well. We also use the ESP-01 for our mailbox sensors and door sensors. Once the mailbox is opened, a tilt sensor is activated, enabling the ESP-01. That in turn notifies us using the IFTTT app. And this is a simple IoT NeoPixel build we made using Blink and the ESP-01.
We have demonstrated how we use the ESP-01 for pulling data from the internet and showing it on a 7-segment display. We have also used the ESP-01 for logging or notifying us when a sensor is triggered. And we have demonstrated how you can use an app to deliver IoT data to the ESP for controlling the NeoPixel lights. All this is done on the ESP-01. Note, there are 2 versions of the ESP-01. You have the regular one and you have the S version. The S version has a built-in pull-up resistor for both the enable pin and the reset pin. So if you're using a decent power source, it's ready to run. No additional components needed.
And its tiny footprint, coupled with a low price, is the main reason why we still love this module. If you compare it with any of the bigger siblings in the ESP-8266 family, the entire ESP with its pins is the same size as just the ESP-12 module alone. But the ESP-12 has no easily available pins, so most makers use either a breakout board or a development board. And then comparing the size, the ESP-01 is tiny.
We even tried mounting the pin headers in a 90 degrees angle to fit it in the project ones. And it's also cheaper. It costs less than $2 compared to the Node MCU, which is almost double the price, and the ESP-32 is even more expensive. It's not that expensive, but we believe that one of the hallmarks of a great maker is that they're able to choose the right components for their builds. By choosing the ESP-01, we save a lot of money since we have more than about 50 IoT sensors in our homes and our maker office. Don't overpay for specs if you're not going to use it.
Now, everything is not great about ESP-01, so let's talk a bit about its downsides. 1. Usually you can only use 2 or maybe 3 of the GPIO pins when you use the Wi-Fi. See the link in the description for more information on how to do that. 2. It has limited amount of flash memory, so if you need to use large libraries, over-the-air programming, or if you want to use MicroPython, this can be a deal breaker.
3. While you can set it in deep sleep, GPIO 16 is not broken out, so you cannot wake yourself up, although you can use external input on the reset pin. So for projects that need to wake up every hour, this is not the best module. 4. It does not have Bluetooth or built-in touch sensors, as the ESP-32 does. And there are 2 additional arguments that can be made against ESP-01 that are so easy to fix that they don't really count. First is that it's hard to program. If you just use a simple and cheap program like this, you just pop in the ESP-01 and program it. And the second is that it's not breadboard friendly. But if you just buy one of these modules or make your own, it is actually more breadboard friendly than the VMOS.
So for a quick overview, if your project is a simple IoT project requiring few pins and not too many libraries, the ESP-01 can often handle it at a low price point and with a tiny footprint. And don't forget about the low power consumption in deep sleep. If you need more storage or more pins, the ESP-12 is a better choice. If you use an external antenna because of a tricky placement of your build, the ESP-07 is a great module. And of course, if you need a faster microcontroller with more memory, or you need Bluetooth, the ESP-32 is the best choice.
Note, we're not saying that any of the other ESP modules are worse than ESP-01. We're simply saying that often this little and cheap module is all you need. And we love to hear from you. Are you still using the ESP-01 or planning to use it in 2020? Please leave a comment down below.
And while you're there, please give this video a like if you find it helpful.
In this video, we're focusing...
Oh! That cat!
In this video, we're focusing on the little ESP-01 and why it's great in so many cases.
Initially, I even created Not too long ago, the ESP-32 was released. It's faster, building IoT devices using AT commands. But programming. Now, everything is not great about ESP-01. So
And we would love to hear from you. Are you still using the ESP-01 or planning to use it in the future? Leave a comment. Ah, fuck!